Hey everyone, Jim Williams, Sean Miller, and look who's here, Amadeus. Amadeus, welcome, my friend. So,
Hey,
all right,
doing
boys,
well.
I'm gonna have to step aside for a second, but you guys can chat, and I'll be back.
All right. So we had the games yesterday. Carabao Cup, obviously. Some of those. I don't know if. Oh wow, Forrest scored in extra time. I thought when you looked at that line, I don't know if you had any of those games yesterday. Um, I thought when Forrest set up that lineup, it was pretty good. We talked with Bill. Bill was talking about maybe Blackburn, and I said, look, and Foxy was saying, look, you got to look at this lineup first, and they put a real strong lineup out there. You never know with that. And they did, and they scored 4 goals. The same with Manchester United. United put a pretty strong lineup out there against Burnley and covered the 1.5. Rashford, Ericsson. I mean, basically, you could argue that you have probably 4, 5, 6 starters in there when they're all healthy. So I thought when you look at these lineups and you're going to see these Premier League teams playing against lower league teams, I think you always got to go with the stronger team. And I think with the FA Cup coming up next. And basically in 3 weeks now, or not even maybe 2 weeks, I think you got to kind of look at that and say, look, here's the strategy for betting the FA Cup. If a team puts a strong lineup out there, you got to go with them.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, like we saw the obviously most of the Premier League teams won. Even Leicester City got it done 3-0 against MK Dons there. So yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting. The FA Cup is January 6th. I think it's starting. So
yeah. And when you looked at the other one, the Brighton lineup, we talked about the Brighton lineup. Caicedo played, Dunk played, but it was a lot of backups for them, and they ended up struggling against Charlton. Charlton has now won 3 penalty shootouts in a row now, and they get to the quarterfinals. I'm sure they'll play Manchester City in the next round. Hopefully it's United, but they'll get Manchester City because they're dog and pony FC.
Hey, they're playing Liverpool today.
Yeah. Did you see the list of players who are out for Liverpool?
No, but I saw the rumors that Liverpool is not going to be signing Jude Bellingham come January.
Yeah, he's going to go to either City or Real.
Yeah, and you know what? This is what we talked about. Like the decline is starting for Liverpool. We saw this coming in the summertime, and sure enough, here we are. Terrible start to the season. The January transfer window is almost here. And what are their plans? We're actually going to shed more players instead of trying to pick up and sign players.
Yeah, they actually they were linked with Enzo Fernandez, and we're going to sign him for whatever $100 million, and then loan him back to Benfica. Because Benfica's not selling him now because they're in the Champions League and they have a legitimate shot to get to maybe a quarter or semifinal. So
unless Man United comes knocking and steals half their team.
Yeah, exactly. I got to run outside for a second. Hold on. You talk. Just talk for a second.
Okay. Yeah. All right. It's just me now. All right. Yeah. So the only game on the board today for the soccer is Man City and Liverpool. Obviously, Man City is probably going to be the way to go if Sean says Liverpool. I didn't actually look at the listed players that are going to be out, but yeah, I mean, Man City, they're going to be at home here against Liverpool. You're getting them for minus 138. I mean, it doesn't come any better than that for Man City. I highly doubt. Let's take a look. Let's take a look at see the predicted lineups today. Possibly. 1 second.
I had to give the garbage and recycling people their Christmas gift there. So.
Oh, that's very nice of
you. Yeah. But they're switching, I think. We're switching companies for January 1st or something like that.
Oh.
Yeah, they want the robot guys, man, the robot trucks. Like
the robot trucks.
They just come and they empty the arm and they just put it back in and stuff like that. You're talking. I heard you talking about the game today.
Yeah, I was just looking at the predicted lineup. I mean, I was saying basically, minus 138 for City. If you say Liverpool is going to have all these players out and they have some starters in for City, it's not going to get any better than minus 138.
So I got it at actually, yesterday it was minus 110 and now it's at minus 127 still. So, and Haaland's going to play.
Yeah, so I got it at 140. Of course he's going to play. The guy's been like sitting on his couch for a whole month. He's probably like itching to get out there.
Yeah, exactly.
The old couch potato. I had to watch everybody for a whole month. That must suck, man. He's almost like an Mbappe. He's going to be like probably one of the best players in the world. And he's never going to be he's like a Lewandowski, basically. He's never going to be in a World Cup because his team, I mean, Norway's not awful, but I don't see them winning a World Cup.
They've been decent at times. And then, they're just, let me see what their Euro.
They have the players like Odegaard's not bad. Like they definitely have some quality talent there.
Let's see. They're in Netherlands. Who are they in with?
There they are. Group A: Spain, Scotland,
Norway, Georgia, Cyprus. I forget who gets through.
They have Italy.
Italy, England, Ukraine. Oh man, you guys got to face Ukraine.
Hold on. Can I see that again? Is that North Macedonia, the team that kept us out of the World Cup?
Yes,
and true. The team we beat in the last Euro Cup. Yes. What kind of group is that? You're telling me the draw's not fixed? My ass, it's not.
I'm convinced all these things are.
Come on, man. It just happened to be in the same. Italy. And we also kicked England out of UEFA Nations League Division A. Come on.
England and Italy are always matched up. Here are the dates for the qualification. So this is the next.
Yeah, like Spain and Germany.
The next break. So there's going to be one break here. In March, the end of March. That's going to be the only break in the second half of the season. This is also Nations League semifinals and finals here, match day 3 and 4. And then you got next year, September, October, November. So you got internationals all next year, every month. It's brutal.
Did you hear what FIFA president announced?
No.
He wants to change the World Cup to every 3 years.
It's just like, why? Like 3. Like, it's just like they said 2 and no one wanted to do it. Bill.
Well, what about the Women's World Cup? Like, that's in the off year. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
that's in that off third year.
Yeah, Bill. Look, if he plays, if Salah plays, I mean, I would expect him to play, but they're not going to have anybody around him. I think if you're looking for a goal scorer bet, I think Haaland is probably a better play, to be honest.
I feel like when these two match up in cup matches, it's always an under. Isn't it normally like a 1-0, 0-0 type of game?
2 game or a 3-2 game in the FA Cup semis a couple years ago. But yeah, it usually is. The problem with Liverpool is, I mean, let me see what
they suck. That's what the problem is.
Yeah, they do.
They just suck in general. We called it. We called it at the beginning of the year, and it doesn't look like they're going to do anything special in the transfer window to help for this year.
Their lineup is going to be really bad. Kelleher, Ramsey, Gomez, Phillips, Tsimikas, Elliott, Badge, Tatek, Oxley, Chamberlain, Salah, Firmino, Carvalho.
Like, what is Sportsmall smoking?
Oh, Liverpool 1-3?
3-1 with those lineups? Are you actually kidding me right now?
Yeah, look at this lineup. Like that's, And
then look at the Man City lineup. De Bruyne, Haaland, Mahrez, Gundogan. How can you sit there and tell me they're going to lose 3-1?
They're saying Salah is sports mole. Sometimes I look at their stuff and I'm like, although they did say France 2-2. One of those games. They said Argentina, Netherlands, I think was 2-2.
Yeah, they did. But that was lucky, man. The Netherlands, were out of that game. But Argentina's defensive flaws, I kept saying it all tournament. I'm so surprised they won. It even showed up in the France game. Those defensive flaws. You blew 2 leads.
Yeah. So, Bill, I mean, look, I don't know where you go here. Salah to score might be worth it because of the back line. The midfield getting in the ball could be an issue. I think Holland scores.
Yeah, just take Robot Man to score.
Yeah, and then some of these the Copa del Rey. If you looked yesterday,
Real Madrid never performs well in Copa del Rey. I think there was a stat out the last time they made it to a semifinal was years ago.
They usually, the crazy thing is they're always in the tournament, the cup tournament anyway, because they put them in there anyway, so they don't even need to win the Copa del Rey.
No.
To get into all those Super Cups and stuff, because I know the Super Cup is coming up soon. Celta Vigo against Guernica. I don't know who that is. These lines are crazy. I don't even know. I really probably just stay away. I was thinking parlay purely for its value at plus 200. Is he plus 200? Yeah, plus 220 here. Yeah, probably. Bill, it's probably not worth it. That's probably worth a shot. Yeah. I mean, I don't know who else scores.
So he's plus 220 to score, but Liverpool is going to win 3-1.
Yeah, that's weird.
Explain that one to me.
And what's Holland to score? Minus 136. Right.
Yeah, guy's been sitting on the couch for a whole month.
Holland to score 2 goals is plus 410. That might be.
This is going to be like a warm up for him because they play on the weekend, right? There's Premier League.
Premier League schedule is
when does that start?
Monday. They play.
Oh,
I don't think they play Monday though. They don't play till Wednesday.
Okay. They're the Wednesday game against Leeds. Yeah, so this is going to be like a warm up for him.
He may score 10 goals against Leeds.
He's literally just warming up for that Leeds match.
Yeah. It's interesting. We might as well just, I got these up, look at these games, the Premier League games for Monday, because they'll be on basically before, we come back on again. Have you started to look at these games yet?
Yeah, a little bit. I'm getting into it. I'm just waiting. Because I'm not going to bet any of the cup matches. So I'm literally just waiting for the leagues to come back.
Yeah, same thing. That's, the first one is interesting. Brentford, Tottenham, right away. Look, I'm going to, until Harry Kane breaks down in the second half, because he's going to break down, because he breaks down every year. I can't believe they have Ivan Toney listed. I thought he was suspended. Harry Kane is plus 112 to score in that game. After that penalty miss, he's going to be like a man possessed here probably for the next, I don't know, I would say probably until he breaks down, basically. He's going to go nuts. I think he scores a lot of goals here. I think they win the game. I think that Tottenham, is a decent value there at almost even money. Palace, Fulham, Everton, Wolves, Southampton, Brighton, I think basically unbettable to me. I'm not touching those games. I don't know, maybe Fulham, but
Oh man, you're telling me you're not eyeing that Wolves plus 220?
Man, that game is awful. That game's probably going to end up 4-3 too.
Everton, I think Everton might play well in that one. They were getting a little hot before the before the World Cup break.
Yeah, it's interesting now because you see here, Wolves. If Wolves beats Everton, they're within 1 point of Everton. For as good as I actually didn't think Everton's played badly in a lot of games. I mean, they only have a minus. Nottingham Forest is minus 19 goal difference. Everton's minus 6, and they're 1 point ahead of Nottingham Forest. I mean, they just have 100 draws. They can't score, and they've lost a lot of games here. I feel like they've lost a lot of games like 1-0, 3-0, 2-0, 0-0. They don't score a lot of goals.
A lot of both teams to score no in those recent matches.
Yeah, really.
Last 5 straight.
There you go. Leicester Newcastle. I think that's actually a pretty interesting game. Newcastle plus 118.
That's Foxy's team.
Yeah, look, I think at some point now, I just don't think that they can keep up this. They've only lost 1 match. I don't know if they can keep up this pace. I think, we'll see with their squad. They have some talent here, but we'll see when they're playing 3 games a week. They've been basically playing 1 game a week because they're not in Europe. Now they're going to be playing 2 or 3 games a week, and we'll see if that starts to catch up with them. Sometimes it does with some of these teams that don't have as big a squads as Manchester City, Southampton, Brighton. I watched Brighton yesterday. They were awful. Southampton did everything they could to lose to Gillingham. They snuck through. Aston Villa Liverpool is interesting to me because I think some of those Liverpool players will be back by that game, and Aston Villa's keeper will not be back, and their backup keeper stinks. So that's an interesting game. I would probably lean towards Liverpool there, and those odds are low because I think Liverpool, they're still trying to figure out who's going to play in that game. I would say once they figure out who's available for that game, those odds might jump to like 160 or something like that. So if you like that Liverpool game, get it now. And then Arsenal, West Ham, I've seen this line anywhere between 170 and 200. So,
Arsenal worries me with Jesus out. Like, who's going to score for this team?
Yeah, that's an interesting game to me because West Ham's, when you look at the table, once again, they've been terrible for most of the first half. They only have 4 wins.
But they've been great in Conference League.
Yes. Yeah, they've lost 4 of 5 in the Premier League here. 2-1. No, that's Aston Villa. Where's West Ham results? There we go. Lost 2-0 to Leicester, 2-0 to both at home. 2-1 to Crystal Palace, 1-0 to United, 1-0 to Liverpool, 1-1 with Southampton. They beat Bournemouth 2-0. This is going back 2 months now. And they have 1 win in 6. And that would bother me a little bit. That's probably a game I stay away from, to be honest. But yeah, those are the Premier League games, and then you got, the Tuesday games are Chelsea, Bournemouth, United, Forest, and Wednesday is Leeds, City, and then Friday West Ham, Brentford, Liverpool, Manchester City. 2 games on Friday, bunch of games Saturday. And then Tottenham, Villa.
Wow.
Villa.
Your United is minus 120 against the Wolves on Saturday.
Are they?
Yeah. The 31st.
112.
112. Look at that. Even better. Against the crappy Wolves who can't score.
Man, those games against Wolves are terrible. But that's crazy. That's a crazy line right there. I mean, basically even money for, you could be in the top 4 by then.
Yeah, you guys are starting to get your stuff together. You picked up the right pieces. Now it's just all about getting them to mesh on the pitch, and they're starting to do that.
We'll see what we do in the summer and in the winter too, because I think there's going to be some people coming in the winter as well.
Oh yeah, well you guys are poaching half of Europe, so like it's not shocking to me at all. You're gonna have Gakpo and
We need
Gonzalo
Gakpo in on
Ramos.
January 1st, man. We need, so he could play in this FA Cup.
Ramos as your striker, and then you got all the pieces around him.
United plays the first game in the FA Cup. They play Everton on Friday night. Imagine that, Friday night against Liverpool. People, that's going to be carnage. The City will be hopping that night. But yeah, it's there's all kinds of stuff to look forward to here for the stuff. Did you look at the NFL game tonight?
Of course I did.
I think this is an interesting game here. I trying to go back and forth on who to pick, and it's pretty tough. I'm not sure.
Yeah, the Jaguars are in an interesting position because they're 6-8 right now, but because the Titans, who lead the division, are only 7-7, the Jaguars could find themselves in first place at the end of this weekend.
Exactly. That's gonna, and then they play the last day of the season, so I think that's gonna be pretty interesting.
And the Jets have been sliding. They were like 7-3 at one point, 7-4, and now they're 7-7, last in their division. They would have to get through, Buffalo, Miami, New England just to win the division, and now they got New England and Miami ahead of them in their own division. So the wild card spot isn't even looking great for the Jets in that tough AFC conference.
Yeah, it's pretty interesting. It's it's going to be crazy 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah, and plus Zach Wilson starting for the Jets tonight.
Is he?
Yeah, because Mike White is out again, so it's the MILF hunter.
That's, I picked this game thinking that he was going to play.
I don't think the team plays for Wilson the way they played for Mike White.
100%. If that's the case, I'm on Jaguars money line here at plus 105.
Yeah, it's weird because it's like they didn't like him last year, and then everything changed when he banged his mom's friend. It's like all of a sudden this guy is great. And then it was like his team saw him on the field again after a few weeks and was like, oh, right, that's right. We hate this guy.
Yeah, exactly.
MILF hunter or not, we hate this guy. He's bad at football. But, there's a lot of pressure on a kid like that when you get taken too high in the draft and you probably weren't worth the pick that you were selected with.
Yeah, it's I don't know. He's one of those guys that, he probably goes to somewhere else and maybe
when they name Mike White as the starter for next year.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. It's he'll go to, I want to say Houston, but they'll pick somebody, and then he'll go somewhere and be okay, so it's interesting.
Well, knowing the Cardinals, they'll probably pick him up because they're just all about making bad decisions.
Yeah,
but Steve Keim stepped down for health reasons now, so maybe things will be on the turnaround. Yeah, this was like a week or two ago. He's having health issues, so he stepped down from general manager, which is good for the team because he's garbage. He had
to do with that guy getting fired too. Like, wasn't there something with that? Something going on?
I don't know, maybe, but he hired Cliff. He drafted Kyler. He also drafted Josh Rosen. The list goes on, man.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah, he released Michael Floyd for getting a DUI and then got a DUI himself 3 weeks later. I'll still never forget that. Yeah. Actually, interesting fact about the Jags, though. Trevor Lawrence has only thrown one interception in the last 6 games.
Yeah, they're not bad. You know what? I think, A, Urban Meyer's terrible. B, if this team, I'm telling you, this team and Detroit, if Detroit gets in the playoffs and the Jags get in the playoffs, like Jags will get a home game if they win that division.
Yeah, like how the Bucks are going to get a home game.
Yeah.
It's like hosting the 10-4 Cowboys. Like, come on.
Exactly. Detroit won't. But you know what? That's like I wrote a story about that for ESPN down in El Paso, and like the Cowboys, it's if they beat the Eagles without Hurts or Hurts plays or not, Eagles will still win the division. I would think and get top seed, but Cowboys, if they finish as the top wild card, they're going to have to go to Tampa or whoever wins that division, which is a pretty decent, and then maybe through the Eagles, who Hurts might not be 100%, and then they would probably have to play San Fran or something like that. But
you know what though?
There's a path for the Cowboys to get to the final.
I think even without Jalen Hurts, I think the Eagles will be fine. Gardner Minshew is a boss.
Yeah, he might. Yeah, look, they might be all right.
Minshew.
If they win that game today, it's locked. Or on Christmas, it's locked up. So, then Hurts can rest for 3 weeks. But it's crazy too, though, when they announced he was hurt and he might not play. His odds went from -160 to plus 800 to win the MVP, and Mahomes went from plus 145 to like -400.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the futures. Let me see if they have them listed here now. MVP, regular season MVP. Yeah, Mahomes. Now he's back down to plus 325 because now they're hedging that he might play. So now they dropped him all the way down because he was going to be out, and now they can't change the odds again. So now he's at plus 325. But if he plays the next couple, if he plays, you got to give it to him. But I was always, if they win that game against the Cowboys, and he rests the last 2 games, he wasn't going to win it anyway because they're not. He's going to sit. He's going to play 14 games, so they're not going to. As soon as I noticed no Sanchez for Brighton in goal and Undav up front, feeling Brighton would flop. Yeah, Foxy, that's, we talked about it. And then, obviously we talked about that early. Manchester United started a relatively strong lineup. Casemiro played center back, but he played, no De Gea, but, Rashford played and McTominay and stuff. So, I thought that was pretty interesting. And then Nottingham Forest started a really strong lineup. So I thought that was pretty interesting. So different ways. Brighton had a chance maybe to get to a quarter or get to a semifinal. I mean, there's some teams left in this bracket that aren't really great. So, I think that was pretty, like you said, I think he probably thought he could do that and get through. And then, watching the game, they had some chances, but couldn't get through. And now Charlton has won 3 penalty shootouts and they're in the quarterfinals. And that was one of the worst penalty shootouts I've ever seen yesterday. Oh, nice. Yeah, Bill, I didn't see that. That was I think that was a friendly yesterday. Where are the club friendlies? PSG won. I forget who Juventus played. Tottenham tied Nice. Yeah, some of these teams will be coming back here, so I'll take Charlton next round, or the other weakest team in the cup, Manchester United. First of all, Foxy, Charlton is going to get Manchester City because they have dog and pony. Let's be honest here. And Newcastle will get Southampton. So and Southampton will knock you out. So we'll see who's in the draw here. Nottingham Forest. United will probably get Nottingham Forest. No, United will get Wolves 100%. That's locked in. We'll be away to Wolves. Yeah. So you got looking at anything else on the schedule here today, Amadeus? There's no NBA
actually,
games, right? There's a couple NBA games.
Like 2 games. They both suck. But
Yeah.
I was looking at the Women's Champions League yesterday. I stayed off of it, but I wanted to take the under in Lyon Juventus because I noticed when it's 2 competitive teams, the games stay under, which it was 0-0. But then you look at these other scores, right? So you got Arsenal versus Zurich
9-1.
Like, come on, man. Is that what we were talking about?
6-0. Like it's embarrassing. Like these games, like the champions, I mean, it just shows you the kind of the
how top heavy the leagues really are, right?
Yeah, today you got Chelsea, PSG, probably should be pretty good.
Chelsea probably wins that one. What are the odds on
Wolfsburg? I know is pretty good against. I don't even know who the hell that is.
Yeah, Wolfsburg's actually the best in Germany, I believe.
Yep. Slavia Prague and Roma. So
I see. I've been learning. I've been watching these women's games, and I've been learning the way to bet it. If it's 2 good teams, you take the under. If it's just a complete mismatch, take the over. It doesn't matter if it's 5 because that team will score like 5 goals themselves, it seems.
Yeah, that's right. Yep.
Yeah, what are you getting Chelsea at? Chelsea's minus 110 against PSG women today. And honestly, I actually kind of think that's a bit of a mismatch. I don't think PSG is nearly as good as the Chelsea women's team. And Chelsea being at home in a big Champions League, unless, I got to look.
Here's the table.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are we at with points here?
Chelsea has to win Chelsea's on 13, PSG's on 10.
So a draw gets Chelsea through, I guess, because there's last games.
Chelsea's outscored the team 16-1. Let's see what they did.
Just destroying teams. But you know what? I've noticed with these women teams, it doesn't matter like if they don't need the win, like if they need the draw, they still come out and destroy the team. I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's a kind of a different mindset. They just go out there and play. You know what I mean? There's none of this like what you see in the men's with, we can take that game off because we don't need to win it.
Chelsea won 1-0 on the 20th in Paris. So Juventus score. Oh, Bill. All right. There you go, Bill. Moise Keane. There you go. Big goal there against Rijeka.
Oh, that game's today. Oh, I see. Yes, Juventus scored, Bill.
There you go.
Celebrate it. Celebrate it big.
All right, so
20 minutes left.
Yeah, about 20 minutes left. Yeah. I'm sure they're not going to play 20 minutes of injury time there, but like in the World Cup next year, we got that. So, any other plays you got here today, or?
Let's see. Let me see the hockey. Yeah, I was almost looking at the Canucks to bounce back against the Kraken. I'm not too sure about that one, but yeah, the Kraken have been good, but they're a lot better at home.
Yeah. I just wrote same thing. I wrote a story about them. They've been actually pretty good. They struggled a little bit. They were 13-2 basically in November, but they're just they struggled a little bit since then and at the beginning of the season, but they're just on fire for like a month there.
Same with like New Jersey, Boston. I don't get it, man. These NHL teams are not doing what hockey teams should be doing.
At Boston, man, they just don't lose, and they're at home tonight. I mean, they're at home against Winnipeg, long travel. I don't know. They just don't lose.
-40 weather. Just being in Winnipeg alone is uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's crazy. All right, so how do you think, Foxy, do you think Sal scores today? I know Holland will. We'll wait for Foxy to get back to Bill here, but basically we'll be back tomorrow and we'll talk a little bit of Premier League and stuff like that and all the different stuff. A lot of NFL on the weekend.
Bring back the real soccer.
Yes, finally. Cup matches and World Cup and all that stuff. So
yeah, the group stage is great. 4 games a day, loved it. But once we got into the knockouts, it was like I'm waiting like 3-4 days for the next game. It's not fun anymore.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. All right. So we will see you tomorrow. Foxy, if you have anything for Bill, let us know here. We're gonna get ready to kind of go here. Where can you get your picks today?
Big Al and Pick Advisor.
Big Al and Pick Advisor. My picks, I don't even know. I can't log into my account, so
Can't give out World Cup. Can't log into the account.
For some reason, they kicked me out of my account yesterday, and now I can't log in. So, gotta try to figure that out.
Jeez.
All right, we will see you tomorrow.